Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78, and I'm going to Atlanta, which is perfect this time of
I'm
year
Tanya
because it's a
Garrett,
little chilly
and you've
up
been
here
part
in
of
the
Step Up
north.
for about
But
five
down in
years.
Atlanta, I have my friend Dolores. And Dolores, you're the CEO of a wonderful nonprofit organization called Step Up. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me, Tom.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking time. I know you're busy, CEO and the whole thing, but you do great work and
Thank you.
important work. And you were in Chicago last month for a big award ceremony. We want to talk about that a little bit and then what Step Up does for young women.
Yeah, we had our Inspiration Awards last month in Chicago, and it's an opportunity, first and foremost, to raise important funds for the organization that helps us to do our work. But it's also a great opportunity to pause and celebrate women who are mentoring girls, but mentoring formally and informally in all ways throughout their lives. And so we had a great opportunity to celebrate Esapatha Merkerson, and Joy Lou Monahan, and one of our teen girls, Uchechi, who is leading the way for teens at her high school in Chicago.
Wonderful. And as a young lady that's leading her, the high school, what do you guys look for and stuff like that for some of those types of awards that you guys are recognizing?
Sure. So, with in particular for our high school girls, our teens, is that we want to celebrate the girl who has grown and advanced and really taken advantage of all of the opportunities that Step Up provides. And Uchechi, the teen girl that we celebrated, really talked to us about how getting involved with Step Up has helped her to find her voice. So she grew up in a Nigerian home, and like a lot of students, girls are to be seen and not heard. They're supposed to, help out around the house and in the kitchen, but be quiet. And so she had over time just, almost become mute,
Mm.
is how she described herself. But finding Step Up, walking into a room that had intimacy and this supportive environment, she was able to first start communicating confidently with her peers, and now communicating confidently with professional women all over Chicago. And so she's just built her confidence, found her voice, and knows specifically what she wants to do with her life, which was really exciting. She wants to be a nurse. And not just in Chicago, she wants to establish clinics and back in Nigeria. So she has not only found her voice, but found her passion and knows what she wants to do to make the world better. So that's why we celebrated Uchechi.
Yeah, I mean that's you just listed off a whole slew of things. She sounds like a wonderful person. I imagine what the organization does has to be tough at times, just because you are dealing with folks that are from all sorts of backgrounds and cultures. You just mentioned the particular culture. Your guest there
Mhm.
was your recipient, your award winner was in, where women weren't to be heard, just seen.
Mhm.
And I imagine that's got to be tough to navigate that with respect to her family, her culture, but to empower women, young women especially, to let their voice be heard, not let people walk over them or bully them or worse, right?
Right. Right. Uchechi actually talked about the fact that just her name was, she got made fun of and bullied and teased, and she would spend her time in the bathroom in tears.
Oh, that's
But
terrible.
finding Step Up helped her to get the tools to advocate for herself. One of the things that's at the center of what we do, we want girls to feel confident, connected, and career ready. And part of that connectedness is being clear about who I am, but also how do I make, what are the connections that can be a part of my journey long term. So she's phenomenal. And the two other mentors that we celebrated, Patha Merkerson and Joy Liu, are, one is an actress, one is a lawyer. So, but that you have something, they both, what is a common thread for both of them is that they are mentors, that they are, supporting girls like Uchechi. They're supporting other women in the workplace. And so they are examples for us of how, in spite of being busy, you can make a difference in the life of a girl, in the life of a young person. And so that's one of the reasons that we took time to celebrate what they do as well.
And if correct me if I'm saying this correctly, Uchechi is her name?
Uchechi.
What a
Yes,
beautiful name.
it
Eh,
is, right?
for young ladies, that are looking for some guidance and for help, in different cities throughout, but here in Chicago, for the example, how do they find you guys?
So Step Up is typically on, they find us through their high school. So we are on there. We provide after school programs, mentoring programs directly on the campuses. But
Mhm.
then girls throughout the city, if we're not at your high school every day, we actually have conferences and Saturday mentoring opportunities that all girls throughout Chicago are welcome to participate in. And so we know that as much as I would love for us to have the capacity to run our programs at every single high school, I know that that's not a sustainable. That's a really big fundraising challenge. But
Yeah, for sure.
being able to provide other opportunities that girls at large can sign up for, even if we're not at their school. And then we've got lots of resources on our website. So self-paced classes that they can take, information that they can read. And our hope is that girls like Uchechi will come back around and be mentors as well as they move throughout their lives.
Well, it sounds like that's a big part of the program, is kind of paying it forward and
Exactly.
helping the next, class, if you will, of people coming through an organization or a high
Yes.
school
Yes.
to go back and kind of help and show the way.
Exactly, exactly. One of the reasons that we think mentoring is just it's so important is that I think sometimes people think of mentoring as a soft thing, like, oh, it's nice. So if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, mentoring probably doesn't rise to the top. But education is something that we're clear. Education is an equalizer, and I like to say that if education is an equalizer, then mentoring is an accelerator. So you need both, but mentoring is the accelerator because it exposes girls to people and places that they would not normally have access to or connected to or able to connect with. And so that's one of the reasons that we do the work. And so many girls, there's research and studies, more especially girls from communities of color, say that there was a time when they wanted a mentor or needed a mentor and didn't have one, right? And so we know that mentorship matters, that it makes a difference, and that it really does change outcomes for young women.
When you say mentoring or mentorship, what does it mean specifically in the Step Up program? What does that provide young ladies? Is it a person to talk to? Is it a person to help them with bullying issue or everything in between? What does that mean for you guys?
It's a little bit of everything in between. So our programs are very structured. So mentors, I think that one of the unique value propositions for us is that a mentor isn't signing up to connect to one girl for the next 5 years.
Mm.
She is signing up to support girls in a group setting so that when she's busy next month and can't come to that school, it's okay because there are other mentors that will come. And our model is called flash mentoring. And so the idea for us is that one conversation, one interaction can make a difference. And so we structure our mentoring around career goals, really. So first, we're focused on social emotional learning. That's the skill building. What are the skills you're going to need to succeed after high school, whether it's in college or in the workforce? So they're focused on soft skills, but then they're focused on career exploration and preparedness. And so it's kind of two things that we're working on. Is one is the skills that you'll need, and then the career exploration. How do you take what you're passionate about, the talent and natural abilities you have, and identify what is a potential career path for you, and helping you to map that out. And that's what our mentors do. They help girls to create that roadmap, and then are advising them on navigating that roadmap. So while they're moving throughout, like, okay, college is what's next for you, or maybe community college, or a trade is what's next for you. So just really helping them to figure out what is the next step that they can take on their journey after high school. And so that's what we how our mentors work with the girls in group settings in particular.
And it really emphasizes the fact that that age group that you're talking about, that high school age or even pre junior high or middle school, is so important, not only for guidance in like how to be an upstanding citizen, but also to figure out what you want out of this life, and what is available for you, and I feel like so many people are told no, you know what I mean, across the world, because it's just the way the world is. Unfortunately, there's a lot of no's out there, and you just got to find the right yes.
Find the right
And
yes.
you got to find the people, you got to find your people, you got to surround yourself with people that lift you up. And it sounds like Step Up, I mean, literally steps you up into that realm of people and opportunity. And I feel like that's why it's such an important message for you and your organization to get out for all of the young ladies out there who are trying to find their way.
Yes, I mean, you just gave our mission. You did the spiel. We should put you on the road talking about Step Up, because that's exactly right. That's what we want. We want to, and we want to expose girls to lots of different mentors, right? That's the other part of it, for us, why we aren't matching you with one person. But when you leave, the girls leave a Step Up program, they have 5 new connections to
Oh,
women
that's
that they
great.
would not have come across naturally. They understand. I remember talking with one teen after having visited Accenture. Right. She was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, I didn't know that this is $1 billion company, and I didn't know what consulting was, and never thought about it, about this as my career option for me." And so that's really what we want. You see these brand names on buildings, or whether it's Baker Tilly or Ulta or PwC, you see these names on buildings, but you don't really understand what they do. And so that's part of what we're doing, is helping girls to get this exposure, that opens up their what's possible for them, that opens up their mind and their eyes to here are all of these things that are possible for me.
Yeah, and I would even further that by just showing young ladies and kids in general that there's more to life than what they see on social media, that there's so much more. And being an influencer, if you find that niche and it works for you, great. But that's like 0.2% of the people in the world that are
Right.
making hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok. So there's a whole other world out there where you could have a great life and be a satisfying life. And it seems like Step Up will not only show that, but the organization to work there and be a part of it also gives that as an example. So
Yeah.
kudos to you. In what a great ceremony that you guys had back in November here in Chicago. But you're not just in Chicago; you're all over the U.S., right?
Right. We have our programs for our teens, are in Chicago, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, Nashville, Atlanta, Houston, and San Francisco. So we have programs for teen girls in 8 cities, but we have programs for young women after high school, so 18 to 29, that can be accessed virtually. We have a mentoring app, that and which is great because the
Wow.
mentor and mentee are connecting on their time. So after you're 18, you connect in this virtual environment that we've created. So we talk, we want young women to know that, one, they deserve a mentor, that mentoring is beneficial and helpful. So we create this need and this expectation for mentoring, but now we've also created this ecosystem. We've taught you to fish, taught you the importance of mentoring, and now we've got this pond stocked with mentors, with women and men who are saying, "Yes, I want to be here to help young women on their journey professionally."
Yeah, and it's great that that continues on if they choose to do it through the age of 29. So
Yes,
many of us, oh, when you're 18, it's XYZ. I'm like, do you remember when you were 18?
right.
Like I was still living with mom and dad. I was still trying to figure it out. I didn't think I figured it out until I was 31. So
Exactly. And as the data shows it, Tom, it's called emerging adulthood.
yep.
All of and once you're 30, and so my youngest daughter just turned 30. I was like, okay, you have emerged. But there's not
Yes.
a wake up magically on the day of my 18th birthday and I have it all figured out. We still need, I certainly needed that advice and that guidance. And I still have a mentor to this day. I have multiple mentors. And
So do I.
so, yes, yes,
Yeah, and I'm fortunate that 2 of those mentors are my parents, but I also have, people I've worked with and friends who I've had for years. So I'm so
mhm,
lucky in that regard, and what you're creating for young ladies out there. Very lucky for them to be a part of this. thank you again so much for taking time to chat with me. If anybody wants to learn more about what your organization does, what's the best way for them to go about that?
The best way is to visit our website, and it's suwn.org, Step Up Women's Network, but suwn.org is the best way to find an opportunity to get engaged.
Amazing. Thank you so much for taking time today. Hope you have a wonderful holiday.
You too, Tom. Happy holidays. Thank you.